This refill is going to be a little different. Tim has agreed to give me some feedback on a story that I wrote last year and just recently revised. It's short. It's about 825 words, and I'm pleased with it. I like it. I don't think it's done yet, but it's close. And this is the second full revision that I've done. What's really interesting about it is that the initial version was 837 words. And then when I did my revision, I really did rewrite quite a bit of it, cutting whole sections, putting in new content. And the final word count was 825. So it didn't change very much in its shape or its size, but it did change in its content. I'm not so foolish to think that this is done, like completely done, but I am pleased with where it's going. And I'm hopeful that maybe one more revision, which would be more of an editing than a revision, would be appropriate. But we wanted to offer this up as an opportunity for you to participate in our writing process. So essentially, I'm going to read the story into the record for this refill. And then next week, the episode that Tim and I talk together will actually be Tim providing me with some quality feedback on the story. This is your opportunity as well to provide me with some unsolicited feedback. I'd be happy to take that. Feel free to write me an email at tiffaninwritingworkshop@gmail.com and let me know what you think of the story. And I'll go ahead and read it now, and then we'll wrap up afterwards. So the story is called Donut Fridays. They tell you to take it home from the hospital, and you are appalled that there is no exit interview. No one checks if you are ready, or if you're any good at all. You should feed it, you know that much, and you give it a plastic rattle for gumming and slobbering. And it puts everything in its mouth, the dust from the floor, and the dirt from the garden, and the rock from the pond, and the bristles from the hairbrush you thought was safely out of reach. It won't stop putting everything in its goddamn mouth. You spoon out strained carrots and peas, which it slaps and kicks away in disgust. You just had a hairbrush in your mouth. Come on. And eventually, it gurgles, yells a bit, tries to pinch tiny ravioli from a can, starts to crawl, wants to curate its own TV shows, and learns to bark orders. So, you teach it. Innocuous things at first. This is the remote control. Can you say remote control? Then it learns that your face does not disappear behind the peekaboo hands, that you are still back there, peering between your fingers at its giddy and gleeful smile. It learns the most important letters and numbers, learns how to fall, learns how to guilt you into another cookie, saying just your name. Soon you're shuttling it to soccer practice with Ziploc bags of orange slices, losing your weekends to music lessons and theater rehearsal, to play dates and sleepovers. And then, in a whisper, they are going. They don't listen to you anymore. They can argue, and they can ignore you, professional grade ignoring, except when they need a science project built or a ride to so-and-so's party. You oblige, thinking back on your time under the thumb. Wistfully, you tell yourself how great it was to not have a mortgage or bills or responsibilities, but that is pure fiction. The trade-off is freedom. To meet people for drinks, to take a special someone to dinner, to play hooky and catch a matinee alone, to stride out of a dark movie theater into a blazing sunlit afternoon and feel the joy mixed with guilt of taking the time for yourself. But then you start loaning them the car, giving them gas money, paying for college tuition. They stop hugging you. You steal one anyway, but it isn't the same. They can vote now. They contribute to a 401k. And they negate you with their silence. The door to their old bedroom is permanently shut to preserve both the smell and the ribbon of hope that they will come again to sleep here. Inside, you stand mute among their least prized possessions, the carapace of their younger self that neither you nor they have the audacity to discard, yet. In the silent room, surrounded by looming shelves of young adult novels, their spines hibernating under fluffy blankets of dust, and a closet of clothes that cannot fit, and the open dresser with its guts spilling out like rubble from a bomb blast, you feel them missing. So you flip through photo albums. Here's one making pancakes, and how you buttered and syruped them before cutting them into little squares. Here's one with the makeshift Lego fort under the bed. Here's Donut Fridays, a weekly treat on the way to school, their grubby little glaze-crusted fingers crushing the donut in their tiny fist, their far-off gaze revealing a supreme satisfaction in owning this moment. Donut Fridays were the highlight of the week. You talked them up every day, all through school year. Why did you stop them again? It was too long ago. Here's a pool party. Here's one of graduation. Flip back to the beginning and do them again quickly. Anything to not look up. See, just over the edge of the photo album, blurry at first but now coming into focus, is the spot on the cold tile floor where it, brand new, sat up straight, smiled right at you, wobbled, and flopped backward head first with a sickening thunk. You were enjoying the moment, and that made you too slow. And what about when you left it new on the bed, properly on its back? You were no fool. Only to return to it face down, grunting, wheezing, sweating, and desperate to raise its soft head with its rubber band neck from the sinking plush of your quilt. You saved it. A hero. But down deep, you cursed yourself for losing vigilance, for leaving it alone at all, even to make dinner. That kept you on guard, ever vigilant, taking photos, but not making memories. You lived those moments through the lens. You framed them perfectly, 1/3 them and 2/3 the landscape. But flipping through the photo album again, you are in none of the pictures. You frame them all perfectly, each with a vast open space where you could have been. Let us know what you think and join us next week when Tim and I discuss the story and see what changes need to be made in order to make it the best version it can be. See you next week. Start writing.